Hey everyone, well this is my first tutorial on Excel functions, and to get started I'm going to go with something fairly simple, but something that can be quite confusing for a lot of people at first. That is Vlookup. Before I start, you are going to hear all sorts of things in the background. My wonderful darling parrots are going to hear me talking and assume someone is here, and they're going to start putting their 2 cents in. Also, I'll be vaping while I do this, so no, I'm not suffocating. Finally, my gangster neighbours are playing their shit music, so I apologise in advance. You may hear that in the background. Now, VLOOKUP is used a lot in administration. It's one of the most widely known functions of Excel, but it can be confusing at first. Hopefully, this will get rid of some of that confusion. Think of VLOOKUP as like playing Battleship, but you know which column all of your opponent's ships are on. All you need to do is guess the row, and bang, you sunk my battleship. The way it works is by providing 3 things: what you're looking for, how many columns across the data from what you're looking for is, if that makes sense, and whether you're looking for an exact match or an approximate match. Okay, we're going to concentrate on exact matches for now, as approximate matches need a lot of explaining and you'd probably fall asleep. Actually, it's because even now I have to use trial and error to get it perfect. I don't want to look like an idiot. Okay, now there are limitations with VLOOKUP, such as speed and the simple fact that you can only look from left to right. This means that you have to organize your data in such a way that the data you want to return is to the right of the data you're looking at. So that has to be what you're looking at to return anything in here. Now, as far as speed is concerned, you'll only see this if your array is hundreds of thousands of rows in length, or you're lazy and you set your array to look at columns in their entirety. Please don't do that. There are ways to not have to do that, and I'll show you one of the best ways. Now, you'll notice that I always leave the top row blank, and there's a reason for this. With VLOOKUP, you must know how many columns across you want, and when you have data sets with 60 columns, you don't want to be sitting there counting columns. You'll look like a tool. So I do this, and then just fill across. So now you know that if you're looking at the name column is what you're using as your search, and you're looking to return age, then you're looking at column 3. You always count your search column as column 1. Okay, alright, now here's a list of people. I just randomly generated names. It's a really good system for that. And it also shows their employee numbers, their age, and their gender. Now this guy, I tried to get all of the genders right. I'm not sure about Kendra Sparks, but there's a porn star called Kendra, so I assume it's female. Now, Chester, he's a special snowflake. He identifies himself as a Naglfar. As you do, it's 2017. Okay, now let's say I want to search by name and get an employee ID from that. So what I'll do first of all, because I don't want to have to type in all of that, is go to data validation, change that to set that as a list. There's your source. Just showing off now. What that'll do is that'll give me all of these people. So what I want to, by looking at a name, I want to be able to show their employee number. So my VLOOKUP, okay, so lookup value in this case is Rebecca Shaw. Now the table array is your data set, not including your column names. Never include those, otherwise it could look interesting. You possibly could, but you know, it'd look a bit strange. Now for these, I always go absolute by pressing F4, and that just makes life easier if I'm having to fill down a list. So now column index number, we want to show the employee ID, which is column 2. Whoops. Now finally, approximate match or exact match. We're going to go with exact match. And there we go, Rebecca Shaw. Rebecca Shaw, there she is, 1172. All right, now this is also where we run into a bit of an issue. Now, it's all very nice if everyone in your company has a different first and last name, but how often does this happen? Let's be honest. Ideally, you want to be able to enter an ID and get the data from that, but Vlookup won't work with the way your list is set up, so we need to change it. I'll show you what I mean. So if we try entering, do a new Vlookup. Lookup value is that. Table array, again. And it's column 1. The thing is, it's not column 1. Technically, it's column -1, which isn't going to fly. It's going to throw an error. So what we actually need to do is take this and pop it there. And that's where all hell breaks loose, because now that Vlookup has changed. And it's going to give NA because Rebecca Shaw is not an employee number. So let's do a small change to this. We'll change that to that. Now let's try our Nagelfar EN1038. And there's our Chester. So ideally, in most cases, that's what you're going to need to do. You'll have to have an employee name, some kind of unique identifier. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. One is it's easier. People can remember like a SAP number or an employee ID number, as long as they're pretty simple. Also, I mean, ideally, the names should be last name, first name, for the sake of alphabetization. And thirdly, I can't think of anything else. So okay, now what happens when you have a large amount of data? Well, here's some I prepared earlier, and again we'll go to the top. Again, this is a bunch of completely randomly generated items. This website, it just rocks for doing this kind of thing. Okay. Let's imagine you work at a recruitment agency and need to look up names and details when someone calls. Everyone has their own unique ID, which they provide. Now, ideally, you'd be using like a highly customized CRM system that could tell you how often they fart and when they sneakily rank the smell of it. But let's just say the boss is a tight ass and he paid someone $20 and a carton of beer to throw together something. So this is what you got, because in this industry you really do get what you pay for. Okay, now let's go with, we want their name, age, and address. So this is where we not forget the equals, Vlookup. Now we want, I'm an idiot, we want it to be there. Now the table array is all of this. Now Control Shift and down brings you to the bottom. And we want their name, which is column 2, and then false. And because I haven't entered anything, that's what's going to happen. So I'm just going to choose one at random, paste values, hello Ellen. Now this is also where using arbitrary or absolutes helps. As J3, that way it will always reference that. So let's just copy this, paste it in, so we have 3 Alan Suttons, and all we need to do now, the age, which is column 4, and the address, which is column 5. And there we go. And we can change this as often as we want. That's pretty cool. Now this is 250 items, and give or take 2. Now, what if someone new calls? So, let's say we give them their own set, and let's say this new person is a priest, so John he's a priest, so whoop. I didn't mean to do that. And he lives with Faith. That's ironic. He has no children because, well, he's a priest. And I bolded that. Alright, so his ID is Ian 2000. It's not going to see that because the array, your lookup area, stops one above. Now if you wanted to, you could drop it down, but it means that every time you added someone new, you'd have to go and change all of these. Now a lazy person would do this. And that makes me sad. I guess it's fine when you're talking about 253. But what if it was 200,000? What if you had 200,000 or 1,000,000 names? What if it was, you know, a census or something crazy like that? You'd put that in, get up, go and have lunch, come back, go and have lunch again, and then it would come up. It's because Vlookup, as opposed to another system called index match, is actually quite slow because it goes down every line. It goes, oh, was that it? No, that's not. Okay, next line. Is that it? No. And it slowly makes its way down, testing each line. There's another one called, there's another way to do it called index match. That's definitely for another day because that still confuses even me. So, okay, the best way, you do it the lazy way, or actually let's get rid of Mr. Baptiste. That's Control Shift down, down arrow. Let's turn it into a table. Table has headers. Now, I cannot stress just how amazing tables are. This is like, these things are incredible. They are incredibly powerful. They're essential. Think of this now. Before it was just a bunch of data. It was just a bunch of values. Now it's essentially a database. So we've got the EN2000. Let's go and put him in now. Well, hang on. First of all, let's make a small change. Get rid of this stupid thing. Table 2. Now, of course, it's not going to show anything. So let's pop a value in there. Hello, Krista Barnes. I think it was 4 and 5, yeah. Okay, so now our EN2000 calls up. Where did I get Baptiste from? Ah, RED. Here we go, no typing faux pas there. You're an idiot. There we go, he's added. And if you wanted to, take this whole section and just pop it in there. There we go, our table has now increased in size to over 500. But that's cool. Still sees it because it's looking at the table in its entirety. Okay. Well, I hope this has helped a bit, and thank you very much.